Bledsoe was arrested.
Patrick Montgomery was in court.
Jonathan Manapa will stay in federal custody.
No, I don't take responsibility at all.
Hey everyone, welcome to the show. So 47-year-old Virginia resident and Marine veteran James Davis had just joined the Proud Boys extremist group when he took part in the Capitol attack. And on December 25th of 2020, he wrote in a Proud Boys Telegram group, in part, quote, "Prepare your hearts, minds, and soul as we prepare for battle to save America and our families." And quote, "I have said my piece with my family. I am prepared if called. Are you? Jesus Christ is my Lord and Savior. Lock and load." You know, just like in the Bible, right under thou shalt not kill, it says, if thou disagrees with the outcome of an election, thou shalt lock and load. I saw it. It's real. It's real, Marianne. Anyway, if you haven't seen Easy A, go watch it. And then you're really going to love this one. On December 27th, Davis posted in the group and he warned his fellow Proud Boys, quote, "There is always someone watching social media. Don't put stupid shit in writing." He wrote that all in caps. And then he ignored his own sage advice the very next day because he wrote, quote, "I hate to tell communist BLM Muriel Bowser that she and her barricades and limited metro is not going to stop the million patriots descending on DC January 5th and 6th to fight for America and our freedom." And on January 4th of 2021, Davis posted in part, quote, "1776 revolution. Gentlemen, I think President Trump just gave every patriot and Proud Boy the green light. Time to unleash hell." He then continued to post incriminating evidence, including statements like, "Let the bodies hit the floor." And on January 6th, he was seen on the Capitol grounds. He was carrying a very large wooden stick. He held it high above his head as he was running across the lawn. He charged towards the building. And Davis was then seen on body cam footage. He was holding his stick with both hands. And he was at the front of the police line. And the police line had just collapsed and fallen back. Well, a short time later, Davis was seen on an officer's body cam, and he was pushing against a police riot shield as he was holding the stick. Then he moved to another officer who didn't have a riot shield, and they say that he made physical contact with that officer. And the officer repeatedly yelled at Davis to back up, but he continued to refuse, and he just refused to comply. He continued to push forward. Davis then yelled at the officer, quote, "I fought for this country. What the fuck are you doing?" And the officer tried to use the baton to push Davis back, but he just continued to push back on the officer's baton and also on the officer's hand. So following that interaction, Davis approaches a third officer, and then that officer put up his hands to stop Davis from advancing. And so Davis was seen on that officer's body cam pushing against the officer with his hands in his chest. And then Davis announced that he was injured and he collapsed, falls on the ground. So he must not have been too hurt because a short time later, he posted in the Proud Boys chat and he was bragging about how he, quote, "pushed the Capitol Police up their emergency stairs, was on the front lines, and how he, quote, used the beefy stick to push forward." Now, Davis claimed in the chat that he, quote, hit a few cops in the head with the big stick. I don't know if that's true. That was not mentioned in his memo, in his sentencing memo. And of course, he blathered on about how brave he was, how tough he was, and he made up all kinds of stories about his heroism. Well, by January 7th, reality set in, and Davis advised the group to delete and or download everything that they had, all evidence, and to, if they downloaded it, to hide it. So Davis was arrested on July 28th of 2021, and in a superseding indictment, he was charged with civil disorder, entering restricted grounds, 2 counts of disorderly conduct, and 2 counts of physical violence. During the execution of their search warrant, the FBI found that Davis had deleted most of his evidence on his phone. He also deleted his Telegram and his Parler apps. Now, luckily, they were still able to retrieve a few things from his device, and they found more evidence against him on other Proud Boys phones. So some of them didn't exactly listen to him or weren't involved in the same group. They also found a Give, Send, Go donation page that Davis had created. He made up another story, another hero story about himself. On this Give, Send, Go, he claimed that he, quote, collapsed into a police officer after running up the grass hill on the Capitol lawn into a cloud of tear gas and mass confusion, which he was doing to give first aid to a downed Vietnam veteran, not downed, to a downed Vietnam veteran, fellow Marine that he heard had collapsed in the crowd. There is no evidence that any of that happened. And then in the Proud Boys chat, Davis claimed that he fell and he hit his head on the concrete and passed out because another person fell and hit him and others as they were ascending a staircase. So it was like dominoes falling, he said. So no wonder these people look up to Trump, right? He is their liar king. Anyway, in June of 2023, Davis pleaded guilty to civil disorder. So he was looking at up to 5 years in prison, 3 years of probation, and $250,000 in fines. But the prosecutor requested only 8 months in prison, 3 years of probation, a $410 fine, and $2,000 in restitution. And they were willing to give him a massive break because they said, he was one of the few defendants who appeared to be truly remorseful. And according to the prosecutor, Davis said he was ashamed that he joined the Proud Boys. He expressed remorse and humiliation for how he treated the police. He said, especially as a former military police officer himself. However, in his sentencing memo, the FBI also said, quote, records reflect that he served less than 2 years in the Marine Corps before being discharged general under honorable conditions. Davis' military record reflect that he received an Article 15 court-martial for failure to obey an order. According to Davis, during an assignment, he was accused of threatening a fellow soldier with a bayonet, which Davis denies. Davis later joined the Army National Guard, where he served for 3 years and was deployed to Kuwait, despite having once been a Marine and later a National Guardsman and having been in direct proximity to a combat zone. Davis' public and private representations of being a Marine combat veteran, in quotes, are somewhat misleading. So, yeah. So U.S. District Judge Timothy Kelly presided over Davis' case, and there aren't any publicly available details about the sentencing hearing, but Davis was sentenced to only 2 months in prison, 2 years of probation, and $2,000 in restitution. What? Yeah, no. How do you get only 2 months after pleading guilty to a felony crime with a 5-year maximum? It makes no sense. Never underestimate Judge Kelly's ability to spit in the face of officers who fought for their lives on January 6th. He always finds a way to insult them. This is absolutely unacceptable. So, yeah, okay, he was remorseful. I don't care how many officers you have to push up against, physically assault, to get a decent sentence. I mean, people who just trespass, people who literally walked in, took a look around, took a few pictures, and left, got 2 months. This is a joke. So anyway, I will let you know if I hear any more about this guy. Have a feeling we will. All right, thank you all so much for watching and listening. Sorry it wasn't better news. Please like the video anyway. A for effort. Please share. Please become a subscriber and a donor if you possibly can. Love you all. Take care. I will talk with you soon.